I have a question. If you take a nap at 7:30 in the night, is that a nap or is that like an early bedtime? Welcome back to A Year in Quarantine Part 2. Part 2, I believe my life was basically becoming something of a mess. If you can't tell, just look at this photo. Or this video. Can you imagine it? Can you imagine it? I'm losing my mind. Okay, let it be known here. Too much time indoors definitely does not do the body good. If there could be any good that came out of being holed up in my apartment for what at this point was coming close to 3 months, I guess one of the positive things would be that I started to get back into hobbies. I started drawing a little bit, studying some languages, learning Korean. 그래서 남자친구하고 데이트할 거예요. Going on a date with my boyfriend. And it does kind of make sense to say this one is like boyfriend with date I'm going. That doesn't sound so crazy, does it? I even took up a little bit of dance. Stiff where? Everywhere? Yeah, but with only YouTube as my dance instructor, I had to train myself. 'Cause you feel like home, you're like a dream. Basically, I can say that this time was full of ups and downs, ups and downs. Here's a week just to prove my point. So I'm in the park, I'm doing my stair climbs right now. I normally like to do 6 sets. There's 3 steps. I like to do 6 of 10, then take a break. I'm at 4 now, and I'm feeling it. Okay, today is, what is it? May 11th? I'm going to start my dance practice very soon, but before then I had to get my coffee. Today is, I believe, the 12th. Just went for a walk. My energy's feeling kind of crazy today. I'm just not in it to win it. I didn't even train this morning, so I'm hoping when I go home I'll train and hopefully get back on my feet. Taking a small break now to eat. I'm not a chef, but I do have something that I'm kind of like proud of that I can make. It's like a Chipotle type of bowl. There's like guac. Okay, I didn't make the guac. Oh my god, I didn't make the guac. All I do is there's these like microwavable rice things at Trader Joe's. You can get the guac there too, the corn as well. And then I like cook it all together. I did make it with chicken, but I already ate all the chicken a few days ago, so there's no chicken, but it's gonna be really good regardless. And you can have a lime, and then you like salt and lime the rice. It's pretty good. I think I maybe got out of the bed an hour ago, and it's like almost 7. It's embarrassing. This quarantine shit is very bizarre. I'm doing the best I can. I'm hoping that like Sunday I want to get it together. With me, it's always something like Jumani's always going through something, but we're getting there. So one day I trained, the next day I didn't. Then the next day I cooked for myself, made a great meal, and the following day I'm like going through it again. Oh, such is quarantine life. And that's what I really realized of this period. I think looking back, I can probably say that this is when I was the most unstable, or if not unstable, definitely the most frazzled was this period. One way that I tried to handle the instability was just to throw myself into something, anything. And so I kind of landed on things artistic. For the month of May and June, I tried to write something, anything, once a day. Some of it, of course, sucked, but it was just doing something. As I've said many, many times before, the most important thing to me was to come out of this with something tangible. Take a look at this photograph. Oh my gosh. Yikes. So I actually have two really good friends that live in this area. This is Journal Square. And it brought back memories because I had also taught, or I'd worked at a summer camp, I want to say 3 years beforehand. And we always used to take the train from the college, I think it's St. Mary's, to this area, Journal Square. And we would take it every day and go on excursions to like Statue of Liberty or Brooklyn Bridge. So this was a nice thing to remember. Also, this was honestly like the only social thing that I did in quarantine. Like I literally really just stayed home. There's no way that I can even begin to reference this period of time without mentioning George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. If the rest of us, myself included, were going through things, personal issues while in quarantine, I can only imagine what it was like for their families to be dealing with the tragedies that they were facing. Dealing with the fireworks and the protests and everything, I think that it really made it a lot easier to make a decision that I ended up making in the future. That decision I will end up speaking on a little bit later. A Year in Quarantine Part 2 is completed. I think if there was a lesson that I could say I learned from this period of time, it would probably be just go with the flow. I think that dealing with everything at this point kind of made it easier to realize, okay, like we're legitimately in quarantine. But I think this was the period where it was the hardest for me to kind of get that. But hey, you live and you learn. Stay tuned for part 3.